Hi, I'm Emily Agnew. I'd like to tell you more about what it's like having one-to-one sessions with me. When I'm looking for a practitioner, I know I always look for a certain quality of acceptance of me. And what I find my clients seem to be looking for is acceptance, but it's a certain quality of acceptance that comes from someone really getting you. You as a person, and also you as a sensitive person. Depending on how you grew up, even if you grew up in a loving family, if people around you didn't know anything about sensitivity, you may have ended up feeling quite other, different, and not understanding why, and maybe judging the difference. And others may have judged the difference. And obviously, not everyone's fortunate to have grown up in a loving family. You may have had a tough childhood, or even, I hope not, but even some kind of traumatic childhood. So the thing about that is that one aspect of the sensitive trait is a quality we call environmental susceptibility. What that is it means that you're affected more by your environment than people who aren't built sensitive. So there's a downside to that, obviously. In fact, statistically, they've done studies that show that if you grew up in a tough family situation as a sensitive person, you're quite a bit more likely to struggle with anxiety and depression as an adult. However, the good news is also that you're environmentally susceptible, because if you find a positive, supportive environment like this, you can really heal fast. But you do need that understanding of the sensitivity. A surprising number of practitioners in the medical field, the mental health field, teachers, just don't know, they literally don't know anything about sensitivity, or they kind of vaguely know about it. And a surprising number of people who know they're sensitive just don't know much about it, and it really can make a big difference. So I help you hold that space of radical acceptance, and as it turns out, in that space, healing occurs in a really natural kind of way. So the other way that I support you in sessions is, once there's more of this environment of acceptance, then there's the question of how do you hear those messages that your anxiety is trying to get through to you? Because our tough feelings and our good feelings are all our body, mind saying, I like this, or this doesn't feel right. It just can be hard to crack that code sometimes, especially by yourself. You may remember the story of Helen Keller. She had this terrible, devastating childhood illness, ended up deaf, dumb, and blind, trapped in herself. And there's a famous incident where her teacher, Annie Sullivan, had been patiently working with her. She was pumping water into Helen's hand and tapping, I'm sure you've heard this, tapping the symbols for water. And there's that moment where Helen got it. She got that Annie Sullivan was communicating with her, that these were words, that she could use these words herself to communicate. And from then on, she just took off and was able to speak, tap, even speak a bit. It's like that inside. Like you can learn how to hear what's coming through. And you get relief right away, which is great. But there's also a deeper relief that comes, not just from the content at hand, but from realizing, thank God, I'm learning how to communicate. I will be able to hear things in future. So there's this whole bigger picture sense of possibility. Can you tell I love doing this work? I can't tell you how gratifying it is to be able to support people in this way, because I really struggled myself for so long with anxiety. I knew nothing about sensitivity. The trait wasn't even discovered till I was well into my adulthood. So it took me a long time. So it feels so good to be able to help you or clients like you move through into a better inner relationship a lot faster and more effectively than I did. So if this intrigues you and you're ready to learn more, you can scroll to the bottom of the page if you like and contact me to schedule a 20-minute complimentary phone call in which you can give me a sense of the specific issues you're dealing with, and I can give you a sense of how I might be able to support you. Or, scroll down to read more. And if you want to know more about the modalities I work in, focusing and inner bonding, or about high sensitivity, there's in-depth videos and articles under the resources tab on the site. There's a lot of information there. Thanks for listening.